I'm sorry, but employees are not allowed inside this lounge. Please wait outside. The words hit Captain Maya Thompson like a slap across the face. She stood frozen in front of the airline's private crew lounge, her crisp uniform perfectly pressed, her pilot wings gleaming on her chest. But the airline staff member at the reception desk hadn't even looked at them. He had just seen her skin. Maya had been here before. Not this exact moment, but this feeling, the quiet, insidious sting of being doubted, overlooked, dismissed. She had faced it in flight school, where people assumed she was the flight attendant, not the one training to fly. She had faced it on the tarmac, where passengers would glance at her in disbelief when she emerged from the cockpit. But today was different. Today, she had the power to change everything. Maya had dreamed of being a pilot since she was a little girl. Growing up in a small town in Alabama, she would watch planes carve white trails in the sky and imagine herself in the cockpit. But dreams like hers weren't common for black girls. People told her it was impossible. Her high school counselor even suggested she aim for something more realistic. But Maya was never the type to back down. She worked 2 jobs to pay for flight lessons, endured the grueling training, and fought for every opportunity in an industry where women, especially black women, were rare. Finally, after years of perseverance, she had made it. She had become one of the few black female captains in the commercial airline industry. Yet here she was, being told to wait outside like she didn't belong. Maya took a slow breath, forcing herself to stay calm. I am an employee, she said, her voice even. I'm Captain Maya Thompson, and I have a flight scheduled in 2 hours. The receptionist's face twitched. He glanced at her badge, then at her uniform, as if seeing it for the first time. But instead of an apology, his response was clipped. Well, captains usually check in at the main office. This area is for crew members. Maya clenched her jaw. It was an excuse. The other pilots, white men in the same uniform, had just walked past her and into the lounge without question. Before she could say anything, another employee, a supervisor, approached. But instead of fixing the situation, he made it worse. Look, ma'am, we have policies. If you're causing a disturbance, I'll have to ask security to escort you out. Maya's chest tightened. A disturbance? She hadn't raised her voice. She hadn't done anything but ask to be treated like the pilot she was. And yet, they were willing to call security on her. That was it. The final straw. Maya didn't argue. She didn't beg. She simply pulled out her phone and made a call. Hello, Mr. Reynolds. This is Captain Thompson. I need you to come to the lounge. Now. Within minutes, the CEO of the airline, Richard Reynolds, walked into the room. His eyes scanned the scene. Maya, standing tall in her uniform, the 2 employees looking confused, the other crew members now watching. The receptionist and the supervisor immediately changed their tones. Mr. Reynolds, there was a misunderstanding. Reynolds held up a hand. No, there wasn't. His voice was sharp. Then, he turned to Maya. Captain Thompson, I sincerely apologize for this unacceptable behavior. The entire room went silent. The employees turned pale. They had no idea who Maya was to the company. Because what they didn't know was that Maya wasn't just any pilot. She was a key figure in the airline's diversity initiative. She worked directly with the CEO to increase opportunities for underrepresented pilots. And she had the authority to make real changes. Without hesitation, Reynolds looked at the 2 employees. You're both suspended, effective immediately. This company will not tolerate discrimination against our passengers or our staff. Then, he turned back to Maya. We're shutting this location down for immediate training and reform. This will never happen again. Maya nodded. It wasn't about punishing individuals, it was about changing the system. And today, she had done just that. The news spread fast. A passenger who had overheard everything recorded the exchange and posted it online. Within hours, the video had millions of views. The world rallied behind Maya, calling her a symbol of strength and resilience. Young black girls reached out, saying they now believed they could be pilots too. Airlines across the country took notice, implementing stronger diversity and inclusion policies. Maya didn't just stand up for herself that day. She stood up for every person who had ever been told they didn't belong. And in doing so, she made sure that from now on, they did.